coming of the Messiah. Masih, Christ, translated Christ. Masih, translated Christ. They were waiting for the coming of the Messiah. But they had another prophecy side by side. Before the coming of the Messiah, Elias must come first. Elias is a prophet supposed to have gone up into heaven by a whirlwind. And before the coming of the Messiah, this man, Elias, must come first. So when Jesus claimed that he is the Masih, the Messiah, Christ, they said, where is Elias? So he points out to John the Baptist, Yahya alayhi salam, that John the Baptist is Elias, or in the spirit of Elias. So they were not satisfied with Jesus' recommendation. So they go to John to make sure whether he is what Jesus is telling him to be. So they ask him, number one, first question, art thou that Christ, the one we are waiting for, Masih, are you that? Now Jesus was the Christ, we believe that. So he says, no, I am not. He is not that Christ. There can't be two Christs at the same time. Then they ask him, art thou Elias? Then he says, I am not. Now this is giving a lie to Jesus. Jesus says that John is Elias, and John says, I am not. Now who is speaking the truth? Both are mighty messengers of God. According to Jesus, John the Baptist was the greatest of the Israelite prophet. Jesus said, among those born of women, there is not another greater than John the Baptist, Yahya alayhi salam. The greatest man among the Jews, the greatest prophet among the Jews is Yahya alayhi salam, John the Baptist. And this greatest man, according to Jesus, says, I am not what Jesus is saying. So one of them is not speaking the truth. Can we take sides? No. How can we say that Jesus was speaking a lie? How can we say that Hazrat Yahya alayhi salam was speaking a lie? I said, look, this is the problem for the Christians. Please don't enter into that. It's not our business. Let them solve that problem between Jesus and John. Who is speaking the truth? We don't want to know. But what we are looking for is, they ask him, art thou Elias? And he says, I'm not. Then they ask him a third question, art thou that prophet? And he says, no. Amazing. Three things they ask him. Art thou the Christ? He says, no. Art thou Elias? He says, no. Art thou that prophet? He says, no. Then they remonstrate with him. He said, why then baptizest thou, if thou art not the Christ, neither Elias, nor that prophet? There are three questions, three negative answers, and three remonstrances, remonstrating with him. Why then are you doing this? But you know, the learned man of Christendom, he can't see three questions. He can't see three answers, he only sees two. You take any school child of standard 2 and you tell him to read that, he can see three. He'll tell you, look daddy, three questions are asked, three answers are given, and three times they're saying, why are you doing this if you are not this, not that, not that? But the learned man can't see, his program not to see. You show it to him. You must show it to him. Say, look, simple. Man, it's like a baby class. You know, you're teaching these children kindergarten, Baba Black Sheep. It is easy as that. Art thou that prophet? And any Bible which has what is called a cross-reference, a concordance on the side, any Bible which has that, you'll find the word at the point, that prophet, you'll find a number. And you look at the number on the side, it'll tell you it refers to Deuteronomy 18:18. And we know that that prophet of Deuteronomy 18:18 is not Jesus but Muhammad. We are not denying Jesus. We believe that he was one of the mightiest messengers of God. We believe in his miraculous birth. We believe that he was the Messiah. We believe that he gave life to the dead by God's permission, and he healed those born blind and the lepers by God's permission. And we are not going to dispute the 1,000 prophecies they're talking about the coming of Christ. We are not disputing a single one of them. What we say is that this prophecy of Deuteronomy 18:18 does not refer to Jesus, but it refers to Muhammad. That is all. Now you have to master this. And Jesus Christ gave them a test which would like them to apply. He said, for there shall arise many false prophets and false Christs, who will show you great signs and wonders, miracles. False prophets can do that, he says. Many false prophets and false Christs, who will show you great signs and wonders. If it were possible to deceive the very elect, even the chosen one of his can be deceived. Such miracles they can perform. Then how are you going to know the true from the false? He said, by the fruit ye shall know them. What produce? What do they produce? By the fruits ye shall know them. Do men gather grapes from the thorn or figs from the thistle? Do they? He said, no. Every good tree will be good fruit, and every evil tree will be evil fruit. Judge them by the fruits. By the fruits ye shall know them. We are not paragons of virtue, we Muslims. We are not. Let's admit it, that we have our black sheep like any other community. But, and I can boast, and I have been boasting, and I have not been contradicted, that my people, the Muslims of South Africa, we have the lowest alcoholic consumption in the country. We don't say we have no drunkards. We have our black sheep, our drunkards as well, who might drink any other Christian or Hindu under the table. We have them too. But we have the lowest alcoholic consumption in the country. We have the lowest gambling rate in the country. We have the lowest prison rate in the country. We have the lowest divorce rate in the country. We have the lowest suicide rate in the country. And we have the highest charity rate in the country. With what God has given us, we are the most charitable of people. We are the most hospitable of people. We are the most sober people. In everything. Though we are not paragons of virtue, we have our black sheep. We have to admit. We have our crooks and cutthroats too. But as a people as a whole, there is not another nation or community in this country that can show a candle to us that we are better than you. What did it? This man's teaching. Forget everything. Remember this one thing, that at the present moment, there are 1,000 million Muslims in the world. 1,000 million Muslims, 1 billion. And we as a people as a whole, we don't drink alcohol. We are the biggest society of teetotalers in the world. People who don't imbibe alcohol. Biggest society in the world are the Muslims. Despite all our drunkards, we are still the biggest society of people who don't touch that stuff. I said, if Muhammad did nothing but freed mankind from this one evil, South Africa, we spent last year 2,000 million rand on alcohol. Last year we spent 2,000 million, 2 billion on gambling. Very little of our money went there, I hope. My dear brothers and sisters, we have given you this little booklet. Look, take it home, master these verses, master them, memorize them to such an extent that, you know, you can stand on your head and you can rattle it off. That's the only way to learn. If you can stand on your head and rattle it off. Prophet sal et fahala fawek, eid dimida van hulle broers. So in case you are talking and the guy breaks you in the middle and he takes you off like a shark, you know, you can catch a shark, what happens? He's taking you this way, that way, and you pull it back again, and the thing reels again. Same thing happens in a dialogue. You know, while at work, while you're having tea, the discussion starts and the guy takes you off. So what about this and what about Khomeini? We are talking about Deuteronomy 18:18, and he wants to know about Iraq-Iran war. He wants to know about this fellow. I said, so if you have mastered it, you can bring him back. Again, where you left off is a suasiais. You know, we are discussing suasiais. And excel me word in the mondele, and excel me word in the mondele. Can you see? So you must master this. You owe it to yourself. And I says, the pleasure and the privilege is ours. Allah has given it to us. لِيُزْهِرَهُ عَلَى الدِّينِ كُلِّهِ. He's given you a deen that is to master, overcome, and supersede them all. وَكَفَى بِاللَّهِ شَهِيدًا. And enough is Allah is a witness to this fact that is going to make his deen to prevail, with you or without you. It's a privilege Allah has given us that we can serve his deen. We can do the works of the prophets of God and earn a prophet's reward. وَآخِرُ دَعْوَانَا الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ.